The iPhone 6. Will it get iOS 13? Let's talk about it.
So, what do I think about the iPhone 6? Now, I feel that it's a pretty good phone, and it is, although albeit kind of slow, it is still up to date and supported on iOS 12. In fact, I probably should have gotten that ready beforehand. It says we are on iOS 12. So 12.1.1, I have not updated this to the latest version yet, but you can do it. So yeah, this runs iOS 12. Now, what do I feel about this phone getting iOS 13? Now, this phone is missing quite a bit of features that I feel that iOS 13 would kind of need in order for it to run pretty smoothly. There have been rumors that that iOS 13 will be a giant overhaul to the iPhone. Or well, not a giant overhaul, but you get what I mean. It's going to be it's going to be a pretty big update. And people are thinking it's going to have effects and stuff like that, but if that's the case, people are thinking it's not going to be able to run on this phone. It has 1 GB of RAM. It has the A numbered editor. A gig of RAM, and it can go all the way up to 128 gigabytes of storage. And so yeah, that's an option. But this thing has, as I mentioned several times, it has only 1 GB of RAM. I don't think that's going to be enough to do many of the things that iOS 13 would be able to do. So as you can see, here it is. So you can see I can just press home, it'll unlock. I just reset this phone. I had to use it for a while. Well, Best Buy broke mine, so I had to use this. So you can see it's running iOS 12, the latest and greatest version, and everything on it still works. But there are a couple features missing that I was actually very, very disappointed about when I realized I didn't have any of those features. The first one was 3D Touch. That was the hardest thing, and it baffled me because I use 3D Touch all the time. So let's say I were to get a notification, I couldn't put more pressure on it to respond. I had to swipe over, click view, and then I had to do it that way. And it was probably one of the most annoying things that I had to do. iOS 12 has added a lot to compensate for this, such as since this is an iPhone 6, you can just add more pressure, or not add more pressure, but you can just hold on the button there and that will work, such as the keyboard to do, so where you can't add more pressure to the keyboard to make it do the cursor drag around, you have to hold space and then you can move your cursor around. So yeah, there were just those small features like that bugs me quite a bit. Let me cancel out of that. Now, another thing that bugged me, there aren't dual cameras. In fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you what the camera quality is and the mic quality of the camera and the mic on this iPhone while I show off what I meant with my iPhone 6. Or my 6. I use a 7 every day, so I need to back up and center myself. So that's the phone I use every day, so I'm going to be trying to use this phone as the camera for a little bit while I explain more of the in-depth features of what I would be missing out with this phone. I'm back here. Hopefully the camera is working right, and this is my iPhone 7 here. This is my main phone. Obviously I can't show it off while I'm recording. That doesn't work. So, let me see if I can find a notification. One of the features I was talking about earlier was how I've added some things down here. You couldn't, there's no 3D touch on the iPhone 6. So, such as this gesture, which is to add more, you can actually add more pressure here, and obviously you can't see that on camera, but, well, maybe you can. If I bring this up closer, you can see the difference when I add or remove pressure. You can see that's there. Okay, well, I'm an idiot because I didn't actually record this with a low enough brightness for it to actually show up right. So, what I meant by that 3D touch thing was that you can add, like you can see my pressure that I add to the screen. You could see that it is detecting my pressure that I put on the screen. So, that's what I meant. So, that's one thing. Along with 3D touch, that's just this new subscriber notification. Thank you. I'm not going to pronounce that. But thank you for subscribing to me. Anyways, I'm just going to move on. So, as you can see here, on this phone, I can just add more pressure to the notification, and it works, obviously. But on the iPhone 6, you cannot actually do that. I'm actually gonna demonstrate that real quick. I'm gonna turn off my 3D touch. You can see that if I add pressure here, it doesn't actually open. So like holding this, I have to do now, as you can see there. And on the iPhone 6, you just hold the X and it lets you clear your notifications. But yeah, like let's say I wanted to open this up, I couldn't add more pressure or anything to this. It's not letting me. So I'd have to hit view, and that's how you'd have to do that on the iPhone 6. So as you can see, I've got a notification up there, and what I was talking about was you can't hold it. I've already shown you that. But also, the only way to really clear all your notifications, well, I mean, you can tap it and hit clear, but that doesn't clear all your notifications. What you can do is hold this, and that's like a 3D touch gesture, and it will let you clear all your notifications. So that's how you do that. That didn't used to exist. That was only available for the 6S, the 7, 8, and 10 before iOS 12 was released, and now it's available for every phone with iOS 12. And that's my little spiel about 3D touch. Now, do I think this iPhone will get iOS 13? I honestly have to say no. This phone was not much more powerful than the iPhone 5S was when it was released. The iPhone 5S will not be getting iOS 13. It's gotten iOS 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. It will not be getting iOS 13. There's just no way. It's too slow. It's not powerful enough. And if the iPhone 6 got iOS 13, that would shock me, honestly, because this phone is not much more powerful than the iPhone 5S, as I mentioned. It's just not. I don't see this thing running iOS 13. Did you like what you saw? Then click on the subscribe button down below and give it a like if you liked it. Thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I'll see you all later. Bye, guys.